Welcome back. I almost forgot to do a podcast today, but I remembered in time. Did you think that I was going to do that to you? Because you thought wrong if you did. I'm staying on schedule from now on. And so on. I thought, because they told me, our guest last week told me that they would, you heard it obviously at the end of it, that they were going to message me when they got home with their charged phone to record a part 2 of that, which I was then going to upload. So you guys were about to get like a 2-part, 1 week long installment, but that's not what happened. Because they didn't message me about that. So here I am alone. Week 12. And I have a story to tell. I got my vaccine today. I got my Fauci Ouchie today. That's so disgusting. Fucking liberals, dude. They're Cuomo-sexualism. That aged well, didn't it? God damn. Drinking tea from my sock dem mug. Back in the days of the Bernie campaign. Back in the simpler time. God, everything went to shit at the same time. Right around a year ago, everything kind of went to shit at the same time. Bernie lost. And so on. COVID hit us and hasn't went away yet. And we're just now getting vaccinated. But I'm not experiencing any symptoms. And it's been 6 hours, so I'm basically fine. It really hurt my arm. Like, the shot itself didn't hurt as bad as the residual arm pain in my muscle. Which lasted like hours, just soreness. But now it's gone, and like, I'm fine. Honestly, I feel better. Like, it kind of made me feel better. Like, I just feel enhanced at this point. I don't feel any kind of like headache or like stomach ache or anything. I literally am fine. It's fucking weird. Hopefully it doesn't hit me later. But I got the Johnson & Johnson one, which I heard mixed things about. I heard from one place that it was like getting recalled in certain places. And then I also heard that it's like the safest version. So I don't know, but I got my vaccine, my first one, and I feel great. I literally feel great right now. Better than before I had it. So, God, I know someone who's like insanely like anti-vaccine too. She literally buys into the conspiracy that it's like deadly. Like, the government is literally like poisoning you and giving you and microchipping you and shit. It's that crazy like Alex Jones level shit. That all of it, and I try to tell her this, but for some reason she just doesn't listen to me. The fact that, like, dude, you're imagining shit as a substitution for what's actually controlling you. You know what I mean? Like people have that feeling that they're being controlled because they are, but they don't know why. So they blame it conspiratorially on like these crazy stories of like direct, punitive, secret, hidden government control. But really, the hidden control is a broader societal thing. Because we live in a society of control, bottom text. Well, quite literally. But it's not so obvious and fucking clear to see as the government secretly microchipping you. In fact, the fact that you even think that, you could argue, is a part of your controlled state. What with the media narratives that control your mind and things like that. Things like that. But, yeah. That stuff is so irritating to me because it's like, if you could just turn all of your rage and anger and rebellious nature and feeling towards capitalism instead, that would be based. But no. They blame it on vaccines, they blame it on chemtrails, they blame it on fucking chemicals in the water turn the frogs gay. Like, it's all it's all bullshit. They have to point the finger at bullshit. And I don't get why. I don't understand why. Even after you tell them, you're wrong, this is what's actually happening, they just continue believing it. Like, it's this... She literally said that, too. She's like, you have your opinion, I have my opinion. It's like, that's not how it works. Like, you don't just have an opinion out of nowhere. So, like, you had to be convinced of that by someone. So let me convince you otherwise. But for some reason, she's just, like, against discourse. Like, she just doesn't talk to people and, like, actually try to have her mind open and changed. Like, she just doesn't do that, I guess. And that's the thing, like, people will resist information like that if they want to. They just will. There's a lot of willful ignorance that kind of, like, continues the world moving on as it does and as it is. A lot of things do that, in fact. I can't tell why my camera on this laptop sucks so much, but, like, it just doesn't look good. Can I somehow, like, fix it? I don't know. Make it record in 720p instead of this, like 360 bullshit, whatever this might be. 480. God damn. I hate that shit. It's funny because the older Windows laptop has a higher level or a higher quality camera. It's fucking weird. But yeah. Also, this angle is kind of strange. Like, honestly, with all the money that I've had, I should have bought myself a camera of some kind that I could use for this. But I don't know. That'll have to be some other way of getting one of those. God damn. And my hair kind of looks like shit too in this camera right now. I don't know. I'm just not a fan. But yeah, I got my vaccine and it feels like an enhancement. It literally feels like an enhancement. I hope it doesn't hit me at any point other than now, because, like, I have to wake up early tomorrow. Oh my god. And fucking do something for some people. But I think I'm getting paid for that. So, finally making money. I hope it's, like, literally me being paid, not, like, the club being paid. But, and by club, I mean, like, I'm doing something with the radio club here. I don't mean, like, a nightclub or something. That's not what I'm doing. But, yeah. God damn. I'm just so fixated on my appearance Oh, you narcissistic bitch. Oh. You're narcissistically attracted to your hair. Oh. I fucking hate psychoanalysis. Can we talk about that? I fucking hate psychoanalysis and its limitations that it seems to be so like willfully ignorant of. But I'm sure you figured that since I'm a Deleuzian. I'm literally reading Anti-Oedipus. I'm sure you gathered that I am not a fan of psychoanalysis from that. But yeah. The interpretation I'm learning in school right now is particularly egregious because it's like they're not even teaching like any alternative perspective. Like there's not even a mention of Deleuze. Like not even a mention. Like he's not even covering that at all. He's just teaching us this very specific interpretation of Lacan. Not even actually teaching us any text written by Lacan, by the way. Just teaching us texts about Lacanian theory. Not any primary theory, which sucks, because I was excited for that. So what I'm afraid of with that is basically you're going to have all these kids who have like a shitty idea of what Lacan said, going around thinking they know what Lacan said. And literally thinking that like Lacan thought that the only thing that matters is how others perceive us, which is not the point that Lacan was trying to make. In fact, that's literally just an oversimplification of Lacan. Because it conflates any random person with like the big other of society as a whole. And it like that remains ignorant of the fact that Lacan is writing about language as the means by which we are socially turned into subjects. Like turned into subjective entities. Which doesn't just mean the way other people perceive you is the only thing that matters. It means that we're constantly, like, our very subjectivity, our personhood, the way we see ourselves and other people, is constantly mediated by the always social realm of language. Those are not the same statements. Like, they're just not the same. The first is an oversimplification of the last. But my critique even goes deeper of this to say that there's a huge limitation in this Lacanian psychoanalysis in the sense that it fails to understand how this structure was even built to begin with. And Lacan discovers the materialist unconscious that we talked about on this podcast before, and then buries it in a bunch of quasi-Oedipal idealism that makes it sound like this process, as perpetuated by the family as we know it in our specific socio-historical moment, is just this ideal structure that always and forever exists and existed, when that's obviously not the fucking case. You see my point? I hope so. I fucking hope so. And like it's just frustrating because you actually need the Lacanian to understand that. To understand the family itself as a structure that was created by a specific societal context more broadly, and then is used to reify that structure. And the fact that it's not just some derivative of the Freudian Oedipal triangle that constrains desire and turns us into desiring beings, which are constantly just trying to supplement this lack of desire that is desire in the Lacanian conception. It's like, it's not just that. It's not some inherently patriarchal force that, quote unquote, normalizes the desire and turns us into desiring beings that are like healthy and acceptable in society. It's the whole of the family structure itself that acts as an agent of social and therefore psychic repression upon desire, which is not a lack, but a productive force that connects things and people. And it goes even deeper than that. It really does go even deeper than that. Because it's not like this just happened. Like, the family is constantly producing itself along the lines of its own, like, the Lacanian describe it as its own universal castration. It's not just like the phallus has the fear of being castrated, and the name of the father is like this dictatorial force. It's actually like the whole the whole thing is castrated already. Distributing breaks in desire along the demands of social production, which is how the social repression occurs, and distributing its flows along its own lines according to its own artificially constructed territories of mother, father, sibling, child, etc. I hope this isn't too fucking jargony and shit. Because honestly, I don't know how to explain these things in simpler terms. Like, I would have to sit down and write it out and prepare, which I probably should do one of these times. But so far, it's just kind of been off the cuff a lot. Except when I talk to Les/Theo about all of this on episode 4. Because I did have things written for that. But even that seems like, I don't know. Even that seems like it could have been a little bit too, like, quote unquote esoteric. Because I don't know, like, I definitely want to put this in terms that people can understand. But I also want it to be interesting for people like me who, like, enjoy listening to this kind of talking. You know what I mean? Because one of the insecurities that has been implanted within me, to be honest, like, just socially in the world throughout my life, is that people think that I'm just using big words and, like, articulating myself in this way because I'm consciously trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I actually don't. Because, like, I've been in classes, like, let me just reveal this. When I was in high school, I was like, I would never raise my hand unless I was, like, 100% sure of the answer, which kind of happened a lot. Like, you know those situations you're in where it's like, the teacher asks a question and nobody raises their hand, so then you already know the answer because it's kind of a fucking obvious stupid question. So you're like, okay, fine, guys, I'll take this one since all of you seem to be too dumb to fucking understand. That would happen to me a lot. But other than that, like, I would avoid social interaction in high school. I would avoid, like, raising my hand in class, answering questions. Being the center of attention has always given me this nauseous allergy feeling. Like, I just hate it. Until, like, college, I became the kid that just won't shut the fuck up in classes. I don't know what it is, but, like, it just... I think it has something to do with being free of the social environment of my high school and free of the perception that was built by the Lacanians would say the quote-unquote big other of the high school environment. Being perceived by another I, another social I, and having like a different image of myself being built, like just having the slate wiped clean like that, really like made it possible for me to talk in classes and not care what people thought because they didn't know me. I was around a bunch of people I didn't know, so it's like poggers. I get to fucking say whatever the fuck I want because these people don't know me. Like, these people don't have a preconceived image of me. And these people aren't constantly judging me according to that, and according to their own expectations and standards, which are implanted into them by the broader societal context. You see what I mean? And I say all of this to say that in college, in those classes where I did talk and speak up and like become like an active piece in the class process, I did get that kind of feedback from certain people who were probably somewhat jealous underneath this, and who kind of just saw me as someone who was like trying to talk with big words to sound smart. But what was really happening there, to be honest with you, was that they weren't comprehending what I was saying. So they just had that perception. Which is, honestly, in retrospect, I'm realizing now, another reason to try to put these things into terms that anybody can just understand at a sort of quote-unquote reasonable expectation. You know what I mean? But at that time, that just kind of wasn't even in my head. Like it was very like, even though the things I said were like with a certain air of eloquence and like large vocabulary, it was never over deliberated. It was never like pre-plotted. It's literally like from my mind out of my mouth, kind of. I still am like that, except it's like more typing because it's like more online. But people have this tendency to turn me into this manipulative, conniving person in their perception of me. But it's like I don't even pre-plan the things I say. Like, it's not even I don't even work that way. Like, I don't have any intention like that. I'm literally just like playing around in the field of ideas and shit. But since then, like, that put that insecurity in me that I feel like people think that of me, when that's a misreading. That's a misinterpretation. That's like putting me under the force of like misunderstanding and jealousy and then interpreting me accordingly. And like, I don't know, like when you go through all this social bullshit with people, you start to build this like idea of other people's idea of you and start assuming that everyone just hates you. Like, that's how I am. Like, I literally feel that way. Because they don't tell me any different. Because nobody fucking talks to me here. So it's like, I actually don't know what anybody thinks of me. Because for the most part, what I get is these dirty fucking looks that honestly make me laugh. Because it's like, it's like, why are you looking at me like that? Like, what? What did I do to you, dude? Like, I don't understand. I really don't get it. People are really fucking weird about me. I've said it before. Especially more like along the lines of my gender identity, but like people are just weird about me in general. I don't like it. Like, I just wish people were more like communicative. Like, and direct. And like just told you what they thought. But I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. Like, everybody's such a fucking coward in my like age group, I think. For like a lot of good reasons, like valid reasons that would create someone that would be like that. Like, we understand how fucking toxic the social environment we inherited is. And that's why I don't fucking, like, what is the word? Initiate shit. That's why I'm never the initiator. Because I'm afraid of the reaction I'm gonna get. Because I've gotten so many negative responses and feedback from people that it's like, that's what I expect at this point. And like, you guys can leave your comments and like tell me on Twitter that you like me and shit, but like that doesn't really make what I'm describing in like the physical world go away. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still gonna feel this way at the end of the day. Even though you guys like me. Like, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. Like, I can't I can't really fix that problem. But it's fine. That's fine. It's just two different things, you know? Because I don't see people as just a thing to fill my life with. Like, I don't see people as the roles they fill in my life. I see them literally as like individual people. So it's not like one person liking me isn't gonna make the fact that someone else dislikes me hurt any less. Because it's like, that's a different person. Like, what do you mean? You see what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's literally two different things, two different problems. This is kind of like directionless of an episode, I feel like. I don't know. The clips are probably going to be shorter, but maybe that's a good thing because, like, I've been uploading long-ass clips lately. I need to prepare these more. Guys, summertime, like, and by that I mean, like, when I'm done with this hellish fucking semester, it's gonna be so poggers. It's gonna be so based. Because, like, I'm gonna be able to record these just at will. Like, just, like, whenever I want to. Like, and, like, prepare them and, like, put more work into the channel as a whole. And, like, I'm gonna be able to stream. I'm gonna have time to stream and just do what I want in the summertime. It's gonna be so great. Like, summer 2021 is gonna be fucking great. Trust me. It's gonna be fucking poggers. Make no mistake about it. Don't get it twisted. I'm very excited for that. And that's like the end of this month is when that comes. So I'll be there as long as you are there to consume my content. It'll be poggers. But yeah, those Lacan books for class, or that Lacan book for class, is so frustrating to read. As someone who's like halfway through anti-Oedipus, and who's read like the first part of Deleuze's Nietzsche, like there's a part in that book, and it's an interpretation of Charlotte's Web in this Lacan book I'm reading. And it literally says this. It literally says that the little girl wanted to assert her will, as in she wanted representation, and it literally says she wanted a vote in the situation of like the killing of the pig, and that's why she like defied her father. And also it said that she, quote unquote, narcissistically identified with the pig because they're both under her father's control and shit. Like, it's just this horrible mixture of like Freudian bullshit and Hegelian bullshit. Like, it's absolutely terrible. It literally says she wanted a vote and representation. It's like, dude, oh my god. Cringe ass state philosophy bullshit. The wills in I will quote this directly. The will, or it's kind of a paraphrase, I think, but the wills in Hegel only want representation. But what a will actually wants is to affirm its difference. And if you extrapolate that out into the world, what minorities need is not just a fucking vote in the situation, but we need to affirm our difference. That's the whole point. It's basically like a philosophical way of saying representation is not a fucking enough. It's not. It's not where it ends. Don't be a liberal. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And so I'm just like reading this and critiquing it, basically, because it's just so painful to read it. It's literally just so fucking painful. It's like, oh my god. But yeah, I don't really have much else this week. And I have to get back to work, so I will come at you next week with a long episode to make up for all this short podcast bullshit. Like, I can't believe it. Like, the last 3 have been like 40 minutes and something. It's like, Jesus Christ. That's not a podcast. Like, I remember when I first did something like this with like 2 of my friends in like 8th grade. And people were complaining at us. Oh, why'd you make it 3 hours? That's so long. Why did you make it 3 hours? And I'm like, dude, because it's a fucking podcast. That's how long they are. Like, what are you talking about? Have you ever seen a podcast? Like, people have always annoyed me. I'm being serious. Like, people are just so stupid. They pummel you over the fucking head with their stupidity and their ignorance. And it's just so painful to deal with it. But yeah, kind of a pessimistic note to end on, but pessimism is bullshit. Also, it's a cope. Schopenhauer was barely escaping Christian moralism. Always remember that. The wheel is always multiple. Wink, wink. I don't think I've uploaded that meme to my YouTube channel. I think I'm gonna wait to do that one, but yeah. There we go. I livened it up at the end. There we go. Positive. We're being positive. Goodbye.